Coach, what does a great win like that say about your group at this time of the year?
Yeah, there was offense wasn't easy to come by for either team tonight. It felt like a playoff game. They did a really good job in the first period against us, really slowing it down and clogging it up. I thought we were on our heels a bit in the first. Our team defense and Housey helped us get out of that at 0-0, and that's what we talked about at the end of the first. It's like, it's okay. Take a breath and stick to the game plan. And fortunately, we found a way to execute some of our offensive chances in the second and third.
For a guy like Michael Hauser, just one of those cool stories comes up and plays the way that he has over the last 2 nights. What can you say about him and his performance?
It's hard to put into words how much he means to our organization, not just to us in Rochester, just to Buffalo here and wherever our affiliate is this year, Jacksonville. And how good he is on the ice, it's expected. It's crazy. You just expect he's going to come up and play really solid, honest goaltending, and he's going to give his team a chance to win. But as good as he plays on the ice, he means even more in that room. He's just absolutely beloved in the room, and we're just fortunate he's in our organization.
6 point. There were 6 games in a row here at home with a point. How meaningful is that moving forward as the playoffs are moving?
Yeah, I mean, right now every point is critical. You prefer 2, but if it's 1, like the other night, you take it, right? You're down 1-0 late the other night, you find a way to get a point. Because the standings are so tight, and nobody's going to go away. I mean, Utica went on the road and beat Wilkes last night, a really good Wilkes team. And Laval swept Belleville this weekend. And like, nobody's going away. Our 7 teams are too good. And so the teams that get in are going to have to earn their way in. Nobody's going to get in the easy way.
How difficult is it for Hauser to, he was a bigger part of this team as far as being here last year, and now he's been away for a couple months, and he joins them for, you're going to push here for points. And
yeah, I think it was difficult when we originally sent him down. And it was difficult for our whole team, not just for him. There wasn't a guy on our team or on our staff that was not devastated that we had to send him to Jacksonville. But a couple things. One, we had the 5 goalie situation with 3 up top at the start and 2 here. And that's not tenable to have 3 in both spots. And you have a obligation to your affiliate to place players with them and help them be successful and build a successful organization top to bottom as well. And so it was probably one of the worst meetings I've ever had in terms of calling him and telling him that, because I'd keep him around all year. But he needs to play as well.
And it probably says a lot that just about how he can step right in, and obviously you guys no one would like him and play the way he is.
He's a very calming influence in net, whether he's as sharp as he was the last 2 nights or whether he's just pretty good. His vibe in the net is calm. And I'm a big believer in that with your goalies. And it's not necessarily style of play, it's their presence. And when chaotic moments hit, and they always do, and the crowd's going crazy or whatever it is, when the bleep is hitting the fan, it's very comforting for the 19 other guys on the bench to look at that net and feel like, oh, he's got everything under control. And that's the vibe that Michael Hauser gives his teammates.
You probably got a couple of fortunate bounces on the first 2 goals. One hits all around. Kulik misses, hits Roseanne in the leg, Karen's over to Murray.
Yeah.
And the first one kind of pinballs.
It's funny. But I'd say we probably missed our 5 best scoring chances in the second. Slags had a backdoor tap in. So the first goal, the one that carried around and went in, something that we always say is shooting creates chaos. And when you get opponents in chaos, they're out of structure, and you have the opportunity to take advantage of that. And it doesn't mean we just want to shoot for no reason, but especially when a team is really good defensively that particular night, they're committed defensively like Utica was, shooting gets them into chaos and out of structure. And I thought we did a good job of that in the second period. And it's funny, Vinny's been saying to me for the last month that we deserve one of those goals. We've had some go against us, and we haven't had one of those type of goals in, like the first one, in probably 6 to 8 weeks. And we've had moments that you think you're gonna, that it's a shot to the back post, and it feels like it's gonna hit something and go in, and it just doesn't. And you know, sometimes you create your own bounces.
You mentioned the pace of the first period. With an off day yesterday, surprising, was it after hockey?
It's interesting. I talked to our guys about this after first. They played yesterday, and so we had a schedule advantage. Now, there's 6 to 8 times you're set up to fail, and there's less for us this year, probably maybe 2 or 3 that you have an advantage from the schedule. So it's something I preach to our guys. When we're set up to fail, we got to find a way to be 500 in those games. We got to find points. You got to get a ugly point and get it to overtime or whatever that is. And when you're set up to succeed, you got to take advantage of it. And at the end of the first, one thing I said is my friends that coach in the NHL, they're in these situations more. Our schedule's has a little more cadence to it. They always say the team that played last night or yesterday afternoon has the advantage in the first period. They're in game mode. They're still in attack game mode. Their body's feeling that way. Their minds are that way. But as the game goes on, if you play the right way, you can switch that advantage because they might have fatigue. And that's something I tried to remind the guys of after the first. That, like, don't be frustrated. You know, they played last night. They had the better legs in the first period. If we keep playing the right way, we have an opportunity to wear them down as the game goes on.
I know second game in a row, overtimes and shots allowed. Is that part of the scheme now going down the stretch, or is it changing?
I think no change in style, but change in, I think it's just been a season-long march, and sometimes a tedious one, to become a better defensive hockey team. You know, you start out the year and you have a really young group, just like last year, and we do a lot of good things offensively, and we're pretty lousy defensively. And I think it's just been every month our goal has been to become a better, more committed, hard-nosed defensive hockey team, so we're harder to play against. Without just being a team that sits back. We can't sit back. We're not built size-wise to just hunker in our D zone. We can't sit back. So I think it's been part of a season-long march to become a better defensive hockey team. And I do think, I think for whatever reason, the ice conditions both Friday and today played into it for both teams. It was just a little bit beat up out there.
Plans for Walberg?
Well, Walberg isn't in yet. He's on his way. So he doesn't get in, international flights, visas, all those things. He's supposed to get in later tonight if travel goes well. He still has to go through physicals, things of that nature. I don't anticipate him being up to speed and ready to go by Wednesday, but I think there's certainly a chance that on the weekend or early next week or early the following week that we could get him in our lineup. I mean, we only know him from development camp. Loved him. I loved him at the World Under-18s. I've religiously followed that tournament and watch it still because I loved coaching in it so much. I was surprised he was around when we got him in the second round. The nice thing for him is he's played pro hockey against men, and that's an advantage. He had a lot of success at the World Juniors, so he's played on big stages. So get him here, get him acclimated, get him some practices, and then we want to put him in when we think he's in position to go be successful. It's hard to predict when it is. Comfort, knowing your teammates, systems, style of play, all of those things. But definitely plan on getting them in.
So if there's 2 guys you could pick on a 2-on-1.
Those would be high on the list.
A, for excitement, the possibility of capitalizing, but also just the excitement value.
The underrated part of that play was Brett Murray's play. Because they put a bad angle shot in to create chaos. And Brett was in the exact perfect spot defensively to help as the weak side wing on any potential rebounds, because that's his responsibility as the weak side wing. But then also has the skill and the intelligence to quickly find an outlet pass to spring those two on their 2-on-1. And then those two do what they did after that.